Hi and welcome to this series where I'm going through the ITIL 4 practices individually, and I'll be giving you the main headline points you need to be aware of in order to help build your base ITIL 4 knowledge. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click on the bell to get those notifications. Okay, so let's get to it. Today I'm going to be covering off portfolio management, which is from the general management practice within the framework. So as a reminder, a practice is a set of organisational resources designed for performing work or accomplishing an objective. The purpose of the portfolio management part is ensuring an organisation has the right mix, so the right collection of programmes, projects, products and services in order to execute the strategy of the organisation. Clearly there are always constraints, so typically those are going to be funding or resource constraints. So okay, somebody may go, okay, I get that, so why do it? Well, it helps companies define challenges. It helps companies define business requirements and needs and capabilities. So it helps in terms of guidance with exec committees or other peers in terms of how do you allocate resources to the various initiatives? How do you justify it? I personally like to think about it that it helps companies make appropriate and good decisions about investments. That's something that's just kind of ingrained in my mind over the years. Think of portfolio management as a coordinated collection of decisions, tactical decisions, strategic decisions that, if you put them all together, they enable the most effective combination, the most effective balance of organisational change and BAU, business as usual. So somebody may well then go, okay, so I buy that, but what does it actually achieve? That's a conversation I hear quite often. So if you think about the activities within portfolio management and some of the day-to-day elements of that. So you've got a systematic framework, you're able to link achievements to agreed outcomes, it's a way of evaluating and prioritising products and services that are coming in, or maybe a project of some kind, perhaps a proposal or a change initiative maybe. It helps that strategic investment appraisal and the decision-making process around all of that. So it makes you understand things like the value, the cost, the risk, the constraints. What are those constraints? Are they resource, or are there other interdependencies perhaps? And what does that mean in terms of existing business activities? It also involves analysing and tracking your investments and monitoring that performance, the overall portfolio performance, and changing and reprioritising those organisational changes. It's a very good way of reviewing the portfolio in terms of progress, in terms of outcomes, costs, risks, benefit, that kind of analysis. It's got a large strategic contribution. Other things to remember around portfolio management: there's three types of portfolio management, if you like. You've got your product and your service portfolio, you have your project portfolio, and you have your customer portfolio, all providing different levels of information. If we delve into each one of those in a tiny bit more detail, so a product and a service portfolio, think along the lines of products and services that are managed. So contracts, perhaps there's commitments in there, maybe even it's particular sectors or markets. It covers things like development items, continual improvement activities, improvements overall. in fact, it's not unusual to have service provider products in there as well, so third parties or external vendors in there as part of your overall product or service offering. Second type of portfolio management is project. So this is about managing and coordinating projects that have been authorized. So it makes sure that they meet those really important items, like it meets the specification, it meets the budget, it meets the cost, it meets the time that was put in there. It's usually, and I say usually a good way of making sure there's no duplication in there. Although I've certainly seen in a number of organisations there is duplication, but typically it's a way of helping you identify duplication. It avoids scope creep. It helps you track and look at availability of resources, who's doing what projects are they involved in, and it's very flexible. You should think of it as that it can take on a small project right through to a gigantic international, all singing, all dancing, complex project of some kind. And then the third type of portfolio management worthy of mention is the customer portfolio. A nod to the relationship management practice here. So as a reminder, within the general management practice section, so this keeps a record of an organisation's customers. It's a good way to think of it as this is the relationship manager's lens on the products and the services that are being provided to a customer. So it's the relationship manager's view on life, on all of those services or individual products that are being provided to the relationship manager's customers. Something I hear relatively often is, okay, I've heard what you've said, that's a service catalogue, isn't it? What's the difference between a service portfolio and a service catalogue then? So very high level, very broad brush here. A service catalogue shows the services you're offering at the moment. So that's your current offering. The service portfolio, that's more encompassing. That includes everything that was, everything that is, and everything that is to come. So it's your past, present, and future. So to reiterate, service catalogue is about what you offer at the moment. It's a list of the products that you're offering your users, and it's what's available, what you can choose at the moment. So it doesn't involve anything that perhaps the development team are working on at the moment, so it's going to be available shortly, or it doesn't show historic products or services that have now gone through a sundown type activity, or they've been retired. So it tends to be what is available at the moment, and then the portfolio is very much about your past, your present, your future, of what is available from. Right, you would look at things like the pipeline for example. So there may be things that haven't even started. It's an idea. They're in a low level of development. So it will be to come type activities. They're not live. Customers won't be able to see them, or users won't be able to show them. And the pipeline is helpful in terms of future growth and what services may be available. And then the retired element of a portfolio will, as it sounds, it's things that are no longer available anymore. So that they've been closed down, they've been retired, or there's just not a requirement anymore. So in summary, a service catalogue shows what you currently offer, what you can get now, what you can buy now, or consume or use now. and the portfolio is all about absolutely everything. What you could have bought but is no longer available, what you can buy because it's available now, and what you potentially could buy in the future. The other point around portfolio management that it's important just to reiterate that point. There are two different practices: service catalogues and service portfolios. So service catalogues are covered in the service catalogue management practice. Those are under the service management practices, and I'll be doing a number of sessions on the service management practices. At the moment, I'm working through the general management practices. And then the service portfolio, so that's covered inside the general management practice, and that gives the ITIL focus there is much more value creation. It doesn't include the service portfolio, such as the customer and the project portfolio. Service value chain. So as a reminder, in terms of the service value chain, you have a number of activities that will deliver value to your customers. You have plan, you have improve, engage, design and transition, obtain and build, deliver and support, all hopefully delivering a product or a service of kind that will eventually bring value to your customer. The nod from a service value chain here is that the plan part is the most heavily used activity, but all activities are involved in portfolio management. But if you were to say, sure, but which is the one where there's the most activity, that would be the plan. And then a final point around portfolio management, really a nod to AGILE more than anything else. Historically, portfolio management was a top-down activity in terms of planning. It was waterfall, cascading, if you like. There was lots of timelines, perhaps those were long timelines, there were stages, there were gates, there was lots of structure, and that technique was very waterfall based. Now we're more in an agile world, so portfolio management has started to adopt that in terms of an approach. So very much build it, measure it, learn, rinse and repeat. Go around, build it, measure it, learn. Much more modular, much more incremental, a lot more communication in terms of the business and getting that feedback and looking at incremental changes. The benefit of doing this, of course, is that it helps break down those organisational silos that we're all trying to work towards to try and break those down. So that's the headline summary information around portfolio management. I hope you enjoyed my overview. Please do subscribe. Thank you.